Iowa Western, Sean Callahan with Iowa Western head coach Scott Strohmeier. You guys are just wrapping up your spring, coach. I guess, first of all, coming off another great season here where you guys were nearly back in a national championship game. What do you like about the team you guys here return coming back?
Well, obviously you lose a lot every single year, and we lost a really good group. But I think when I look back on our previous seasons, we have as many returning, not starters or guys who played significant minutes returning this year, starting on the defensive line. And, we lost our entire offensive line, but we have some skill guys back, where in years past we maybe had 2 or 3 guys that played significant minutes returning. So we're excited about that. The guys are hungry. They felt a little bit slighted last year, which, motivated them in winter conditioning. And, I felt with the weather starting off, we ended spring on a pretty good note.
Hey, your defensive line, I mean, that looks like the group that all the coaches are going to today. We're at practice. Alabama's there, Oregon's there, TCU, Purdue, Ohio. And it seemed like everybody kind of had their eyes on that defensive line group. Give us an idea of just what you have coming back as far as big-time prospects on that D-line group.
Yeah, I mean, that's really where everybody goes when you have the interior defensive line or offensive linemen. The coaches really track to them. And, it starts Chester Graves, returning All-American, is really going to be able to pick where he wants to go to school. He's really talented out of Kansas City. Then you go Malcolm Lee from Bellevue, who has probably the most improved from last fall to now. Really had a great offseason in the weight room. Will end up, in probably have some power. He has some Power 5 offers, and it's really good to see him because I think that's a development thing. Everybody knew he was talented, but he's changed his body in hard work and really takes coaching extremely well. And then Elijah James from Illinois came in, played as a freshman for us, and again, a good guy, or good off season, and put himself in position. Then we kind of got the sleeper Elias Bell, who came in. He was our 5th guy last year, had an injury and ended up playing. He was our 4th guy, in our 4-man rotation, who's got a really big upside. And when you have 4 guys that will have Division I offers on the defensive line, you can be a little bit young in some other spots because those guys can give havoc to an offense.
And you mentioned Malcolm Lee, how he's developed. How much can you use him as an example to when you're recruiting places like Omaha or state of Nebraska particularly, that, hey, you know what, you have the potential, and look, if you come here and play for me for 2 years, we can get you the offers that you think you maybe deserve.
Yep, and I think that's the best part, and we've had some Nebraska kids, and they've developed and done really well, now with Malcolm, the last few years, the big thing is you get a kid from Omaha, or Bellevue, and they come here, they maybe have some offers, but maybe not the ones that they like, and they come here, and 2 years later, all of a sudden, now they're Power 5. I think the biggest thing that I try to stress to them, and all the times we recruit, is, right now in Nebraska, you're really a regional recruit. There's certain schools that recruit the state of Nebraska, and unless you're one of the high-profile kids, where now you come to Iowa Western, you're a national recruit. So now you have coaches from, TCU there today. They're looking at guys, and I know they're recruiting some in Omaha, but they don't generally make stops, up here. They got the state of Texas.
Yeah, when you took this job over 10 years ago, in your wildest dreams, did you ever imagine that you would have this type of spring? Because, I'm guessing in your earlier Iowa days at NIAC, you weren't getting Alabamas and TCUs and the Oregons of the world, top 10 national programs coming to watch your spring practices.
Yeah, I suppose you have a vision that that's what you'd want it to be. I don't necessarily know that you'd expect it, and we had it fairly fast. We were at NIAC, and I was there for 3 years, and we had some talented kids, but we sent 3 Division I, and really no Power 5 guys at that time. But we were happy when the FCS schools would show up and the good D2s. So times have changed dramatically. We've had some high-profile kids that a lot of those schools come to, and really, when you're successful and you win some games, and people know now what type of program we run. We're not maybe the typical junior college that people think of all the time, and what they see sometimes on TV. That they know that our guys are taking care of their business academically, and for the most part, we're getting our kids out, and that's a big thing.
When are you signing the last chance you deal, by the way?
I don't think there's enough drama here at Iowa Western for last chance you to get here. They might be bored for the time, and we joked about it because we actually talked to them when they were at Independence, and they're like, maybe next year, and that's what I said. I'm like, I don't think there's enough drama here.
You didn't make the film probably the way you guys put them in the ground that day.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm interested to see the season 1 or episode 1 to kind of see what was put in that game, but our guys were fired up for it.
Now, you mentioned Nebraska a little bit. Scott Frost is a guy that you've known since his Northern Iowa days. Eric Shenander, Mario Verduzco, Javon DeWitt, all guys that you have some familiarity with from your days at Nyack. Scott Frost has been here. Eric Shenander's been here. DeWitt's been here. Ryan Held, I think, has at least been in contact or been here as well. Give us an idea of just how much more open that relationship now is with Nebraska compared to maybe the previous 10 years.
Well, I mean, it's huge because we know each other, and I think they've over the 10 years that I've known some of those guys, that they understand who I am, who our my staff is, how we run our program, and so there's a trust factor there right away, just because the relationship has already been established. Unlike maybe the other ones where there was no prior relationship with anybody really on staff, so they maybe had relationships other places with other guys, where now we kind of already have that established, and I'm excited. They know that we've been successful here. They know we have players. That doesn't mean they're going to take everyone, but I know for a fact that if we have a player, they're going to evaluate them and recruit them if they're the right fit for Nebraska. So, I mean, I'm excited. I have a lot of respect for those guys and the way, Scott has climbed the ladder. I mean, everybody knew when you first met him that he was going to at some point be a head coach, and I think a lot of people were hoping at Nebraska. So it's good to see.
Yeah, you knew him at Northern Iowa. You followed him out to Oregon to kind of learn what they were doing on offense under Chip Kelly. In your mind, did you kind of say, you know what, this could happen someday? I mean, him coming back to Nebraska just makes too much sense.
Without a doubt. I mean, one, he's sharp. I mean, when the first time that we sat with him, I think, because he was defensively on the defensive side at Northern Iowa, and then when he went to Oregon, he was on the offensive side. And when we went out there, and I think 2010, my entire offensive staff, I brought him out there, and they signed Jared Ebert. So that was our kind of way to get in.
The big tall guy you had, right?
Yep. And so we had an opportunity to sit down with them, and I'll tell you what, just talking to him, that first day there, you're like, I mean, he's a sharp football coach.
Now, your offense that you run, how similar is it to what Frost is doing now?
A lot of it's similar. We revamped our system, and we got some from some other places too. But the tempo, we changed a lot of our calls that are similar. A lot of our past concepts are similar, kind of the same philosophies, and I think, like I said, we're always trying to learn too. But they've been so successful, and he's changed it a little bit from Oregon to he kind of put his own twist in it. When he was just the offense coordinator at Oregon, but when he took over the head coaching job at UCF to Nebraska, he's got some more twists in there that we want to continue to learn, because he's done a really good job.
Now, they've offered Chester Graves. It sounds like they're talking to Malcolm Lee. I mean, are those really the two primary names Nebraska's asked you about thus far?
Yeah, I think so. And we still have a lot of guys that maybe there's some uncertainty. They transferred in. We need to see them a little bit more in the spring, and I think that's what's good when they're so close and they can come and check out. It's fairly easy for them to get over here and evaluate a guy or meet somebody. But those are really the main two.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. I know you got the spring game coming up tomorrow, so pretty busy time at Iowa Western, but we were excited to get a chance to come up here and check out all the facilities and all the things that you guys have added here to really make this a premier JUCO program in the country.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming anytime. It's good to see you guys, and hopefully we can see more of you, and that means that we got guys that are getting recruited and going to Nebraska.
Well, hey, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.